Hello, Blythe, Evie, Joe, Jack, Callum, Cadence, Lucy, Orion, and anyone else who's listening. Welcome to Story Time. Today's story is To the Wise Man with Love, written by Julia Marie Michel. This was written in a creative writing class that Julia took in high school. To the Wise Man with Love, written by Julia Michel, illustrated by Julia Michel, Tess Michel, and Sheila Michel. So we all worked together on this one. Julia did most of it, but Tess and I helped a little bit. Dedicated to my great-grandmother Bridget and my grandmother Ellen. Those two women are my mother. Ellen is Nani's mother. Bridget is Nani's grandmother. And this is a story that my mother, Julia's grandmother, used to tell when Julia was a little girl. In the small village of Tipperary, Ireland, a little hazel-eyed girl named Ellen lived with her father, mother, and little brother, Pat. Her family was so poor she wore her school uniform every day because it was the only outfit she owned. But she made the best of everything and was always very happy. Look, her name is on her lunch, Ellen. One year, Ellen was selected to be one of the 3 wise men in the church's Christmas pageant. She was so excited to have such an important part and looked forward to Sunday afternoons when the children would rehearse. Boy, that's a big deal to be chosen as one of the wise men in a Christmas pageant. About 2 weeks before Christmas, Sister Bernadette, who was in charge of the pageant, began to talk about costumes. The children were to provide their own costumes. Ellen had mentioned this to her mother, but knowing they couldn't afford a store-bought costume or any fabric to make one quickly, forgot about the whole subject altogether. Soon, Ellen was the only one without a costume. So do you see how everybody's there with their costumes? Mary, Joseph, there's a doll for the baby Jesus, there's shepherds, there's an angel, and then there's 2 wise men with costumes, but not Ellen. At rehearsals, Sister Bernadette began asking Ellen where her costume was, and after several weeks without a costume, Sister Bernadette said, "Ellen, where is your costume? Next week is our final rehearsal. You need to have your costume by then." Ellen just quietly replied, "I know, I'll have it next week." But in truth, Ellen knew that she wouldn't ever be able to get a costume. Finally, the dress rehearsal arrived. Everyone was running around finishing last-minute chores, and Ellen still didn't have a costume. "Lovely costume, Kathleen," Sister Bernadette said. "Don't sit in the manger, Colin. Angela dear, we need to start now. Go on up to the front of the church." Then she noticed Ellen. Oh, look how sad she is. See the sign for the Christmas pageant? "Ellen dear, this is our last rehearsal. Where is your costume?" "I don't have one yet. Just then, from the back of the church, Ellen's mother came swiftly walking up the aisle. "Ellen, sweetheart." Ellen turned around to see her mother standing there with a big bundle of something purple. I'm sorry about Ellen's costume, Sister Bernadette, Ellen's mother said. It really is my fault. I haven't had a lot of time lately. Sister Bernadette smiled. It's quite all right. I understand. Then she turned and walked toward the front of the church. Look how surprised Ellen is. Ellen's mother bent down next to Ellen and unrolled the purple bundle. It was a beautiful royal purple satin cape trimmed with a golden thread. There was a big shiny button under the neck, and to complete the magnificent costume, there was a crown made of tin foil sewn to the front of the cape. Did you make this for me, Mother? Ellen asked, her eyes glowing as she admired the gorgeous cape. Especially for you, she said. A wonderful wise man like yourself needs a beautiful costume. Ellen took her eyes from the cape and looked into her mother's eyes. She had no idea where her mother had gotten the money to buy this beautiful satin, or when she had had the time to make the gorgeous costume. A tear trickled down her cheek. Then she flung her arms around her mother. I love you, Mother, she whispered. I love you so much. As Ellen went to sleep that Christmas Eve, she thought about the beautiful satin her mother couldn't afford, but somehow bought, and how busy her mother was working to provide for the family, but somehow found the time to make her a cape. She loved being a wise man. She loved the gorgeous cape. But most of all, she loved her mother. On that Christmas Eve, while the other children in Tipperary dreamt of candy canes and shiny new balls, she dreamt of her mother and her everlasting love. The end. That is a true story, and I loved hearing my mother tell that story, and I was always amazed, and I always wondered, how did her mother manage to get that fabric, and how did she manage to have the time to make the costume? To me, it's a story of miracles and great love. When Julia presented this story to her teachers, this was the comment that she got on the book. To the Wise Man with Love, author Julia Marie Michel. Notes: love the family connection, illustrations are great, great storyline, nice job. What a treasure for your family. Her grade was 3 out of 3, so it was a perfect grade. I hope you like that story. I love that story, and I love that Julia wrote that story for a class. I hope you all keep loving each other, keep looking after each other, and you continue to love yourselves just the way you are, because each one of you is so very, very lovable. And never forget that I love each one of you to the moon and back. We will be back together for another story time tomorrow. Bye-bye.